On March 31, 2016, police received an emergency call. By the time officers arrived, the victim had already been taken to the hospital for emergency treatment. The victim had seen the attacker but did not know him. The victim was named Songxue Zheng, a manager at a passenger bus station. At noon on the day of the attack, he was stabbed inside his residential building. He was stabbed 8 times. His father heard the noise and rushed down, fearing his son would not survive. It was only by good fortune that his life was saved. The residential building was located in the center of the county. The attacker struck at 1:30 in the afternoon, when many people were about to leave for work, making his act extremely reckless. The elder Zheng ran a passenger bus station, and Songxue Zheng worked there with his father. He was easygoing and had never made enemies with anyone. No one could understand why anyone would hate them enough to try to kill them. Police interviewed colleagues and friends around Songxue Zheng, and everyone spoke highly of him. During the on-site investigation, police found several cigarette butts in the stairwell. The cigarette butts were fresh, around 5 or 6 of them, most likely left by the suspect while waiting in ambush. One neighbor told police he had encountered the suspect shortly before the attack. It was an old building where most residents had lived there for years. The man was a stranger, so the neighbor immediately realized he did not live there. However, the neighbor was in a hurry to go to work and did not pay much attention. Unexpectedly, as the neighbor walked past, the suspect suddenly started a conversation with him. Later, when the neighbor went downstairs to drive to work, he heard a commotion upstairs. Soon afterward, a man ran down from upstairs, the same suspect he had just seen. The neighbor and the victim gave matching descriptions of the man. Police extracted DNA from the cigarette butts, but there was no match in the database, meaning the suspect had no prior criminal record. After emergency treatment, Songxue Zheng was out of danger. He told police that on the day of the attack, he left home for work as usual. He saw an unfamiliar man in the stairwell. Like the neighbor, he did not pay much attention. But as they passed each other, the stranger suddenly lunged at him and began stabbing him with a knife. The attacker acted alone. Before the attack, the man had asked a very strange question. He asked Songxue Zheng if he still went online. Since the man kept asking about going online, police suspected Songxue Zheng might have had an argument with someone online, leading to revenge from an internet contact. But Songxue Zheng thought that was impossible, as he hardly used the internet at all. Police then reviewed nearby surveillance cameras and spotted the suspect fleeing. What caught police attention was that the man ran out through a small side gate of the community. The community had a main gate which was more noticeable, while the small side gate was more hidden. The main gate led to an alley and required a longer detour to escape, but the small side gate opened directly onto the main road. Police concluded the suspect must have been familiar with the community and knew the side gate was a quicker escape route. He was either someone the family knew or had scouted the area in advance. Using the suspect's physical description, police found surveillance footage of him scouting the area near the community before the attack. On the day of the attack, the suspect arrived early in the morning near the bus station where Songxue Zheng worked. He kept watch from a supermarket across from the station. When Songxue Zheng left work at noon to go home for lunch, the suspect took a taxi and followed him. Songxue Zheng did not notice anything unusual and went straight home. The suspect hid in the stairwell between the first and second floors of Zheng's building to wait. At about 1:30 in the afternoon, the victim went downstairs to leave for work, and the suspect carried out the attack. It was shocking how bold the man was. acting so openly in broad daylight. Afterward, the suspect quickly ran out of the community and stopped a taxi to leave. Police found the taxi driver, who remembered the man clearly. At first, the man said nothing and did not answer any questions from the driver. Later he said he wanted to go to the bus station. But when they reached the station, the man said he was running late and told the driver to keep going. He finally got out near the Hushi elevated bridge. This area was a blind spot for cameras, so his tracks were lost. Only one bus route passed this area, heading toward Erdoğanbey town. There were 3 buses each day. Police found the driver who was on duty at that time that day. But the driver said he did not pick up anyone there that day. There was a community nearby. If the suspect ran into that community and cut through, he could have gone elsewhere. Otherwise, he might have had a car prepared in advance, or an accomplice picked him up. Police later found another driver who passed the area at 50 minutes past 1 in the afternoon. The driver did not see anyone standing there, meaning the suspect had already left. The suspect arrived there around 1:30 and was gone by 50 minutes past 1, meaning he left within 20 minutes. Police checked all vehicles entering and leaving the area during those 20 minutes and finally found a taxi driver who picked up a passenger at 45 minutes past 1. Once again, the passenger did not say a word when asked questions. He rode all the way to Yenji City and got off near the train station. Police suspected he planned to escape by train. Police then found the suspect on surveillance cameras at the train station. He bought a ticket at 3:30 in the afternoon. According to the ticket information, he was going to Shenyang. The suspect's identity was then confirmed. He was from Liaoyuan City in Jilin Province. He had never lived or worked in Unta County where the attack happened and had no connection whatsoever with Songxue Zheng. Based on Songxue Zheng's previous movements, police found he had appeared in Haicheng, Liaoning Province. Songxue Zheng had been divorced before and had a daughter who lived with him. The daughter was attending school in Haicheng at that time. Police rushed to Haicheng, but Songxue Zheng was not there. Police then found that Songxue Zheng had close contact with a woman named Molly Zhang. Molly Zhang was on a business trip in Beijing at that time. Further investigation showed that Songxue Zheng and Molly Zhang had hotel records in Beijing together. The two had bought tickets for the same train back to Haicheng. To make a quick arrest, police immediately headed for Beijing and waited for them on the train back to Haicheng. When police appeared, Songxue Zheng was extremely surprised. He did not think police would track him down so quickly. It was absurd that he had attacked someone in broad daylight at noon in the victim's stairwell and still wondered how police found him so fast. Songxue Zheng had never been to Untu before. He was a complete stranger to the victim and had no conflict with him. He carried out the attack only because someone had hired him to do so. The man was contradictory. He wanted to reduce his punishment but refused to tell police who the employer was, probably fearing being called disloyal. It was somewhat ironic that his given name meant loyal minister. When police asked the Zheng family for information, they confidently gave police one name. The man was named Wei Zhao, a bus driver. On the noon of the attack, Songxue Zheng had seen Wei Zhao and exchanged greetings with him. The man had acted completely calm. Wei Zhao even chatted with him like any other acquaintance. Songxue Zheng also mentioned the bus issues to Wei Zhao, saying he was still working on them. Wei Zhao appeared calm and polite on the surface, but inside he was probably already planning to harm the father and son, maybe even sneering inwardly. Songxue Zheng said they did have some disagreements with Wei Zhao, but there had never been any violent conflict. So they never imagined Wei Zhao would be so ruthless. Songxue Zheng and Wei Zhao were from the same hometown and distant relatives. They had been close like brothers. But they had left to work in different places and had not seen each other for many years. Shortly before the attack, Wei Zhao suddenly contacted Songxue Zheng. Faced with all the evidence, Songxue Zheng finally admitted that Wei Zhao was the one who hired him. Wei Zhao was arrested. Wei Zhao claimed he never intended to kill anyone, only wanted to beat the victim to vent his anger. He stabbed the man 8 times, and the victim barely survived. Naturally, he would say that after being caught. The most ridiculous part was that he said he hired someone else to do it because he did not want to take responsibility, meaning he did not want to go to jail and wanted someone else to take the blame. He did not realize that hiring someone to commit murder carried an even heavier charge. Wei Zhao said he was pushed to this point by father and son Songxue Zheng and Songxue Zheng. Songxue Zheng ran the passenger bus station, and Wei Zhao was a bus driver. According to the rules, his bus could only operate from the station and was not allowed to pick up passengers randomly outside. Things had been fairly normal until September 2015, when Wei Zhao bought a new bus and the Zheng family made things difficult for him in every way. He bought the bus but was not allowed to operate it from the station, which effectively cut off his livelihood. Songxue Zheng said he was not making things difficult, the bus simply did not meet the required standards. This explanation only made Wei Zhao angrier. He said he had asked Songxue Zheng before buying the bus, and Zheng had agreed, so he went ahead with the purchase. He never expected Zheng to go back on his word after he bought the bus. Songxue Zheng gave a different account. He said he had no objection himself, but other drivers had to vote. If others opposed, he could not do anything about it. He could only speak for himself, not everyone else. The problem with Wei Zhao's bus was that he had changed it from 39 seats to 54 seats. According to the rules, such a change required public notice and approval from other drivers. 2 drivers had consistently objected. Under normal circumstances, adding 5 seats was acceptable, but Wei Zhao had added 15 seats, nearly half the capacity of the bus. Drivers with routes scheduled after his naturally objected. Buses departed on a set timetable. If his bus was earlier and had more than a dozen extra seats, he would take more passengers, leaving fewer for the drivers behind. Naturally, they were unhappy. Passenger numbers were already low. Wei Zhao wanted more passengers simply to earn more money, but that meant taking earnings from others. So they opposed the change. According to the rules, even one objection was enough to block the change, let alone 2. After facing objections, Wei Zhao said he compromised and removed the extra seats. Still, the father and son refused to let his bus enter the station. Because the seats had been modified without permission and did not meet requirements, the Zheng family feared they would be held responsible as station managers if anything went wrong. The issue remained unresolved, and Wei Zhao's bus was not allowed to operate from the station, making his new bus practically useless. At that time, Wei Zhao had bought 2 buses totaling about 300,000 yuan, some of the money borrowed with interest. This made him increasingly anxious. Father and son Zheng insisted they were not targeting Wei Zhao on purpose and were only following the rules. But in Wei Zhao's mind, the Zheng family was deliberately making things difficult for him. As the problem dragged on without a solution, Wei Zhao began to think about revenge. Not wanting to take the blame himself, he decided to hire someone else to carry out the attack. Songxue Zheng repeatedly claimed he did it out of their long-standing friendship. In reality, he did it for money. Afterward, Wei Zhao provided the license plate numbers of Songxue Zheng and Songxue Zheng, telling Zhongchen Zhao to follow them and teach either one a lesson. On the day of the incident, Zhongchen Zhao chose to target Songxue Zheng. As for the strange question he asked during the attack, it was just something he made up on the spot to confuse the police.